So in this segment, we're going to be talking about a staunch Eurosceptic Tory MP calling for free movement, but for plants. So this is about Robert Goodwill. So embarrassing. This is probably one of the most embarrassing articles that I've read in a while. So, a staunch Eurosceptic Tory MP has asked the government to bring back freedom of movement across the borders, but for plants. Robert Goodwill, who welcomed the end of freedom of movement of people, wrote to ministers at DEFRA last month asking them to ensure free movement of cultivated plant biodiversity. So this man's a farmer, like it mentions it in the article. So he probably has not been able to get certain plants or seeds that he needs in order to, be a farmer. Even though I don't understand how he has time to be a farmer when he's an MP. Like, I thought an MP was a full-time job. If it's not, and you have so much time to farm, maybe you should get a salary decrease instead of a salary increase. But anyways, the call from by the ex-Home Office Immigration Minister prompted anger from supporters of free movement of people who said his priorities were wrong. So Robert told his constituents that Britain should take back control and bring an end to free movement of people once and for all. And we did that, and we're struggling because we don't have free movement of people. There are record vacancies available, and there aren't enough people to fill them. Or at least there aren't enough people to fill them. Not enough, or enough people with expertise, anyways. But I'll go into the weeds if I do that. When people voted to leave the EU, they did so in the knowledge that the free movement system imposed by the EU would end. Now, it was not imposed by the EU. It's a pillar of the EU. If you want to be part of the EU, you have to accept freedom of movement. So it was not imposed, was it? Because one of the things that we accepted. So that doesn't make any sense, does it, pal? Robert. In a written parliamentary question, the MP for Scarborough and Whitby, who is a farmer by trade, so not only is this man an MP, he also has time to farm. I don't mean the kind of farming in the online sense, the gamer sense of, training. This man's not training, he's actual farming, and that's why he needs seeds and stuff. He asked environment ministers what steps the department is taking to ensure the free movement of cultivated plant biodiversity. That they has to go through SPS checks for the most part, pal, because we have to check what's coming into the UK, not only to know what's coming in through the borders, but also as part of the as a member of the WTO. Now, I've not Googled Sir Robert Goodwill enough to know what his stance is. Did he want a no-deal Brexit, or as some stupid people called it, a WTO Brexit? But if we did have a no-deal Brexit, you'd still have to check the plants coming in, pal. Got news for you. Brexit's made it more difficult to import and export cultivated plants, with SPS restrictions on trade between GB and the continent and Northern Ireland. Ireland, of course. Don't know why. Not sure why Ireland wasn't mentioned. A bit strange. Naomi Smith, chief executive of the pro-EU campaign Best for Britain, told The Independent, for those who campaign so energetically against the free movement for British people to ironically now call for the free movement of plants is the clearest distillation of the heartless, irrational and backwards priority that drives some Eurosceptics. Now, I disagree with it because I think these people are NIMBYs, right? So not in my backyard kind of people. So what they say is, we got to get rid of freedom of movement because too many foreigners, right? Even though typically they didn't live in the areas with the most foreign people. Most foreign people, inside and outside the EU, typically live in cities and big towns because that's where the jobs are. So, the points to most of these people don't make sense. But point being is he's a NIMBY. But he's now, as a true conservative, his livelihood's been impacted by this, and now he's angry. That's the true sign of a Tory, honestly. Not a Tory, sorry, a conservative, small c conservative. They get angry when things affect them. I think it was, and I might be wrong here, Dick Cheney's daughter who turned out to be a lesbian, right? Dick Cheney before this was against, equal marriage and things like that. And then I believe it was Dick Cheney anyways. And then once he found out his daughter was gay, he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm pro gay people now." What changed, Dick? Interestingly enough, DEFRA Minister Victoria Prentice replied to Sir Robert saying that plant imports posed a risk because they can act as hosts or vectors, and are one of the primary ways in which new pests and diseases can be introduced, which is true. That's why you check things to make sure there's no issues with the plants as they come in, because they can really affect the biodiversity of a country, and we know Sir Robert Goodwill is concerned about biodiversity. She added that high plant health and biosecurity standards keep harmful pests and diseases out of the UK, benefiting both the horticulture trade and the environment in the long term, which, is true. But most of the things we know that come out of the EU will be fine. But obviously, as the fact that we're not a member of the EU anymore, we don't have a specific agreement around this stuff. It goes to WTO rules, which is we check everyone else's stuff, so we have to check theirs. At least that's my interpretation of it. And said the UK has some of the highest plant health and biosecurity standards in the world. I mean, okay, but that wouldn't happen, in the space of less than 3 months when we started doing import checks. That would have been, whilst we're EU members, so that doesn't make sense. And I would not be surprised if the other countries that had the highest plant health and biosecurity were also members of the EU, like Germany, France, Italy, Portugal, other countries as well, would not have really high plant health, etc. But I digress. Anyways, what do you guys think about this gentleman here, Robert Goodwill? What did the audience think? About his statement about he wants freedom of movement back, but for plants, because he's a farmer by trade, and no doubt this has impacted his ability to get certain agricultural products. If he's a farmer that also rears animals, then you're in for a rough old time, buddy. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Support the channel on Patreon if you can. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.